Do you want to take your leadership skills to a whole new level? To stimulate your team to even greater successes? In this video, I will teach you all the basics of coaching leadership. Hi, I'm Winfred, and I am so happy that you want to learn about coaching leadership. But first things first. A coach and coaching leadership are two different things. A manager can never become the coach of their employees. Your relationship is based on hierarchy, and your focus on the goals of your organization will make it impossible to coach. But coaching leadership is a great combination of managing and coaching. In this video, I will teach you the basics of coaching leadership. It is a skill that you can learn, and when you master it, you will achieve great results within your team. But coaching leadership is just one of the leadership styles that you must master. There are 5 other leadership styles, and it's up to you to choose the right style of management in a specific situation. It is a bit too much to explain all the leadership styles today. That is something for another video. Okay, let's get back to coaching leadership. I divided this video into 4 parts. The goal, the benefits, when to use and how to use it. And of course, in the end, I will recap it all. The goal of coaching leadership is to develop your team members to become the best version of themselves within your organization. You want them to become better as a person and as a professional by unlocking their potential. You want to guide them to success by turning their weaknesses into strengths. To realize that, you want to change the way that they think and they behave. This transformational process consists of small but significant steps, which combined will lead to long-term change. The benefits of this type of leadership are great. People love working with coaching leaders. It creates a positive culture of freedom and trust. Your team members will feel independent, valued and supported. They experience better communication and their engagement will grow. This will benefit your future results for sure. When you master the skill of coaching leadership, you will reduce the stress levels within your team drastically. With this great impact, you will really make a difference. And your leadership style might be contagious. Before you know it, your team members might start to coach each other. Can you imagine what kind of results that will give? I mentioned before that there are 6 leadership styles. These styles are commanding, visionary, affiliative, democratic, pace-setting and coaching. All these styles developed by Daniel Goleman can be used in different situations. For example, commanding can be used to force your team to action in a crisis situation. And democratic when you need input on an issue. Coaching is, like I said before, especially good to use when you want to achieve great results by developing your team members, as a person and as a professional. Since it depends on the situation, you are the best person to determine when it is the right time for coaching leadership, with a specific team member or with your team as a whole. During the remaining part of this video, I will give you plenty of information to assess your situation better. To successfully introduce coaching leadership within your organization, you need to have the right skills and mindset, a team that is ready for it, the right priorities, and you have to be prepared for the response. The first thing needed for successful leadership is the right mindset and skills for the leader. Yes, that means you. Your approach needs to change. You have to stop telling them what to do. Instead, you will have to guide them by asking the right questions. But that is easier said than done. Some say that coaching leadership is an art. It requires an enormous amount of time, energy, patience and empathy. You must have integrity and good communication skills. You will have to slowly increase the guidance and support that you give this way. That way your team members can get used to your new style and the freedom that comes with it. Okay, let's say that you are the highly qualified leader that is up to the task. The next thing you need is a team that's able to deal with this new kind of leadership. They have to trust you, be willing to change, and they must be able to deal with their freedom. Because of the time and effort it will cost you as manager. Coaching leadership is easier to introduce in small teams with strong personal relationships. The third thing you need to have is the right priorities. Coaching leadership requires a lot of time and effort. Therefore, it's very smart to carefully pick the team members that you start to coach. It is a partnership, And that is why you can best pick those team members that you have a personal chemistry with. When you have a big team, it could be a good idea to pick the coaches of the future. Invest your time in them and develop their skills to a point that they are able to coach their own colleagues. That will save you a lot of time later on. Coaching leadership is a two-way street. When you ask questions, you can expect to get questions back. That is how a good conversation works. And once your relationship develops further, you will also receive feedback on your actions. You have to prepare for that. Now you know what coaching leadership is, what the benefits are, and what you need before you can start. It is time to discover how you can use it. You can coach a team member in two situations. The first one is informal day-to-day coaching. This is mostly good to solve problems during their work. The second one is long-term coaching, and that truly focuses on personal development. In both situations, you try to understand what drives your team member and the decisions that they make. You do this by asking them questions. Those questions will not only give you a lot of insight, but when you do it right, your team member will gain valuable insights as well. Okay, you might think that the best way to do this is to ask them why they did something, but that would be a mistake. The why question is often associated with criticism. People are used to ask the why question when someone did something wrong. You can easily avoid this by starting your questions with what or how. Allow me to give you an example. Instead of why did you choose option A, you should ask what made you choose option A. There is no judgmental undertone in the last question. And it stimulates your team member to explore their own decision-making process. This will surely lead to valuable insights. But not all questions that start with what are the best questions. Let's do another example. Instead of what is your problem, you could ask what challenges are you facing. This question will force your team member to think much deeper about their situation. By asking the right kind of questions, you will not only guide your team member to insight and action, but you will also offer them control over their choices. That will greatly reduce stress. Besides guiding your team member, it's also important to recognize achievements and celebrate success. This will strengthen your relationship even further. But be careful. People don't trust leaders that only give them praise. Therefore, you should give them a right amount of praise and criticism. The most common ratio is around 5 praises to 1 criticism. You now know the basics of coaching leadership. Let's summarize it. The goal of coaching leadership is to unlock the potential within your team members, so they become the best version of themselves within your organization. This creates a situation of freedom and trust that will make your team members feel independent, valued and supported. And that reduces stress. To introduce coaching leadership, you need to have the right skills and mindset, have a team that's ready for it, have the right priorities, and you will need to be prepared for the response. While coaching your team members, you will ask questions that will give them insight in their actions. Questions that start with what or how are the best way to stimulate their thoughts in a positive way. Okay, the moment of truth. Do you think that you are ready to introduce coaching leadership in your team? Let me know in the comments. Oh, and where you're not ready yet, I would love to read what your biggest challenge is. In my next video, I will tell you all about the GROW model. This is an easy method that you can use when you coach your team members. Stay tuned. Bye.